Today is February 6th. 6th. Why is it February? That's how it's spelt, but it's never pronounced. Everybody always pronounces it February, but it's spelt February. Unless I'm an idiot and I'm spelling it wrong, which is a possibility. I thought it was February. I don't know. February? I don't remember. But today is February 6th. And I don't know. I felt like I was going to continue talking about what I talked about yesterday, but I don't remember what I talked about yesterday. I never remember. That's why I record these. And that's why I can't help. I failed in trying to write them down. Because I can't remember anything for the life of me. But I did remember something that I had forgotten for a while. A sensation. I disdain, dislike. There's a lot of different words, and I'm not quite sure which one's the proper one. But I strongly dislike that feeling of the middle ground, being someone in between. I don't want to, many people, and me included, have several friend groups. I, for instance, would say I have 3 friend groups. My primary friend group of people I've known since elementary school. My secondary friend group of people I've only known for about a year, couple months to a year now. And the third group, which I've known them longer than the second group, but I get along better with the second group. And other than that, I wouldn't call them friend groups, but more of just people I've spoken to and that I speak to. For instance, that set of 2 people I spoke of last time, those are people I have known for several years. Not as long as the first friend group, significantly longer than the second and third friend groups. But they're not really a friend group because it's only 2 people. So I'm not sure if that really constitutes as a group. I guess it does to some degree. Point being, there was no point to that, actually. Where was I? I was getting at a point with that. Yes, I don't like being the friend group 2. I hate that feeling of being the secondary, or even the tertiary? I think tertiary. I either want to be the first option or not an option at all. And for the longest time, I forgot what that feeling was like, because most of my primary friend group, we are the primary friend group. We're the people who've known one another since elementary school. Some of them middle school, but one of them elementary school. We are each other's number 1 at all times. And they've also had their own friend groups that they hang out with on occasion. And sometimes they'll invite me to hang out with them. For one particular friend, an example. And I started making friends with people in that friend group, and then I just stopped because I realized I don't really care to make more friends. I don't really care to put out the effort. I have friends. I guess I can't say I have too many friends, but I have friends that provide me with everything I need. I have friends that are just friends, people I can hang out with and have a good time. I have friends that make me laugh. I have friends that set me straight when I'm behind. I have friends that motivate me. I have friends that keep me in check. And it's all just that same group of 3 people. I have friends that one of them I can speak to about just about anything. The other one I can't speak to about just about anything about my personal life. They're each so varied and yet so similar to me, and yet so different to me, that I feel in those 3 alone, I have everything I could ever ask for in any number of friends. Therefore, I do not need any more. It's simply not worth the effort. That being said, it's not even effort to spend time with them. We use this app called Discord, and in said we have servers and voice channels. So instead of directly calling someone, I can just sit in a voice channel, and if another person opens their Discord and sees me in that voice channel, they can join. And now it's like we're calling. And so that's what that primary friend group is. That's why it's no effort. It's whenever we're alone, we just go and sit in that voice channel, and at some point someone else will join, and we'll just hang out. It's like that. We don't necessarily... Sometimes we do reach out to an individual if we want that individual. For example, one of these three has gotten into a relationship about 6 months ago. So for the past 6 months, he has been hanging out with us significantly less than he used to. I would still like to think that we're the number one, but knowing him, his new relationship, his girlfriend might be his number one priority now, which I can't say there's anything too wrong with it, but at the end of the day, we were here before her, we will be here after her, we will always be a part of his life. There's no guarantee that she will, even in another few months. Hell, with the way with what I know about their relationship, even a few weeks. I don't really know. Their relationship isn't really having troubles. It's just that knowing because I had known both of them, not just the one that is actively my friend, but the other one I also knew before they got together. And if there's anything I know about those two, it's that relationship is far more than likely built on lies. Just lying to one another and hoping that the other person doesn't find out. So all it's going to take is for one of their lies to unfold, and the whole thing will come crumbling down. Because it's not just one of them lying to the other. They're both lying to each other constantly. One of which I can prove because I've seen it. The other one I can't prove. I haven't seen it, but I know that individual, and I know that they are lying. I don't know what they're lying about, but they lie over very, very minuscule, unimportant things that don't make sense. Little white lies, but the little white lies are the worst lies of all. Because if you are going to lie over something as meaningless as what you ate, or if you exercised, or what you are thinking in a given moment, if you're going to lie about something as simple as that, how is somebody to know if you won't lie on the fundamentals, on the things that are very important? Maybe past partners, maybe your goals with a relationship, maybe your goals in life. That is why I very strongly dislike liars to any degree. People who lie for the sake of lying. Because if you're going to lie over the insignificant, then you're obviously going to lie over something that is significant. And lying about something that is significant is a problem for everyone, always. I just prefer to nip it in the bud and stop it where the lies begin. Which is incredibly ironic coming from me, because I am what's known as a pathological liar. That means that when asked a question, the most simple of things, my very first instinct, my very first response is a lie. Almost every time when asked a question, I won't say almost every time, but definitely more often than not. Less than half the time, but a very notable amount of the time. If I feel as though I'm in trouble for something, if I feel as though something may be going wrong, if I sense a slight change in attitude, my first instinct is to lie. And it's the first thing that I do. If I realize that this is... Often I will catch myself. I will realize that I lied, and then I will admit straight up, no, sorry, I don't know why I said that. That was a lie. Here's the truth. That makes it very, very difficult for people to trust me. I have one friend, one of my 3 friend groups, who has simply taken it to the point where he does not trust a single word I ever say. Well, for a grand majority of the part. Things that I benefit nothing from lying about, for instance, where I work or what I did that day. He will believe me. But when it comes to something like accomplishments in a game or feelings for a person, he will just assume that I am lying with whatever I say, which I can't say that I haven't given him justifiable reason to believe it. I have given him plenty of reason to believe such a thing. He is the only one of those three, though. And one last thing that I seem to have trouble with, along the same vein, is that I don't... Sometimes I won't admit that it's a lie. I'm working on it, but on occasion, sometimes, if I truly do believe, if my brain still believes and still processes my surroundings as a threat, either in the psychological manner or physical manner, I will continue to lie. I will double down on that lie. For example, I was a jerk as a kid. I was a real mean jerk, and I loved making people mad. Not making people mad over things that are silly, over meaningful things. I'm not going to insult someone's mother or the absence of someone's father or a lover. Not hard-hitting jab like that, but maybe little nicks and pricks, like their eyebrows are unaligned. Because there are people who get sad and people who get mad. And people who get mad over simple things are very, very fun to mess around with. People who get mad over simple things. I'm not going to write a 10-page thesis over something just to get someone mildly frustrated. The people who are fun to mess with were the people who would get blindingly red in the face, angry at maybe a sentence. And at one point, I got in big trouble with one of my friends because I misspoke, and instead of saying I enjoyed making people mad, I said I enjoyed making people sad. And then that doubled down into I enjoy making people cry. And then that doubled down into even a false story, a story that didn't happen. Well, it did happen. I intended to make someone mad because they got mad easily, and it succeeded, but somebody else in the background cried because they heard what was going on. Allegedly, it reminded her of their parents arguing, and it made them cry. And I accidentally twisted that story, but I say accidentally, and it was an accident, but I'd take full responsibility for it. It was a conscious decision. Can conscious decisions be accidents? That is another grand question. I would argue yes, because I've experienced it, but I have nothing to argue with. I only have my own experience. I have no real-world examples other than my own, and I can't prove that my examples were true. I can't prove my intentions on a subject matter. But I twisted that story to make it seem as though I intentionally made that person cry. And they were none too happy about that because, well, clearly they were none too happy. I was a jerk. I was a bully. There's absolutely no reason they could tolerate even being near me from that. So after a while, I don't recall what happened, but we ended up talking again, and I cleared things up that I am a pathological liar, and I have a tendency to double down when I'm caught out, rather than admit that I lied, even though my lying is simply an instinct. I don't know how lying as an instinct managed to happen. I remember in my junior year of high school, I was in JROTC, and it was an old military vet that was around, and he liked to just be around the classroom. I don't know if I think he did work there, but he just kind of hung around, didn't really do much. He was more like a teacher's assistant, even though he was a grown man. And at one point in the class, we were talking about lying, and whenever lying is acceptable, and who you would lie to, just all about lies. And I pointed that out, my beliefs on lying, and he noted, well, what about pathological liars? Some people with ADHD or ADD, often lie out of pure first instinct. Now, I don't remember if I said this, but everyone says that they have ADD nowadays, or ADHD. Everyone thinks they do. I don't know what the hell's wrong with my generation, that they can't just accept that something is off, that they're not perfect, something has to be wrong. People of this generation, my generation, seem to have this, not even my generation. I'm not, I don't know if I'm part of the modern generation. I don't think I am. I don't know. It's within a 10-year lifespan. It's within a 10-year span, 20-year span, and if a generation is within a 20-year span, then I guess it is part of my generation. But it's so disgusting, because I hate considering them. I don't like the idea of considering that these people, these things, I can hardly call them people with whatever is going on with their brains, are on the same, should be, and could be on the same level that I am. But besides the point is that these people have this concept stuck in their mind that every person is supposed to be perfect. The neurotypical. Everyone is supposed to be standard, factory average. No one is. They take very simple human condition terrors and blow them way out of proportion to things that just don't make any sense anymore. Not everyone has ADD. Not everyone has ADHD. Everyone has depression or schizophrenia. False memories are a thing that everyone experiences. Having trouble focusing, losing attention is something that everyone experiences, especially nowadays. Fuck TikTok. I'm sorry, that's vulgar. I fucking hate TikTok. I swear to God. It's done wretched, horrible, horrible things just to our attention span. And honestly, I can nip and gripe at everything that but everything I have to say about TikTok has been said 100,000 million different times. So the only primary gripe that I have, that I don't care how many times it's been said, I will still say it again, is that it's absolutely destroyed our attention spans. And that destroys everything. If you destroy our attention span, you destroy our ability to create. You destroy our ability to read. You destroy our ability to focus. You destroy our ability to function. If you destroy the attention span. That is one of the great things that we have accomplished as a species. One of the things that made us great was that ability to focus on one target. No matter how far, no matter how distant, no matter how fast, no matter how strong, no matter how better, no matter how impossible a target. We could focus, we could gather, and we could take it. One way or another, some amount of time, we could do it. That's how we survived. It's the only reason we did survive, because realistically, tall, skinny primate on 2 legs, big brains, but not big enough to actually use it very well. Can't run fast. Can't run fast. Can think well, not too well in the modern day, at least. But clever. And persistent. We keep going, and we keep going, and we keep going. That is what made us such great hunters. That is what made us survive until our farming days. We have bad spines, we have bad bones, we have bad eyes, we have bad teeth, we have a lot of things. I mean, no other species in the world, to my knowledge, needs to clean their teeth routinely. And one could say that that's just lame with all the things we eat nowadays. And I partially understand that. I have definitely noticed a big difference in my dental health between times when I would eat sugar all I want and times when I would diet. And I would just, I guess I can't properly say diet, but times when I would avoid sugar. Sugar is such an incredible detriment to our dental health. It's one of the main factors. So who knows if dental health was even a problem for primitive humans. Regardless, we were still small. Our skin was not particularly thick. We didn't have enough fur to protect us, nor enough fur to stay warm, but just enough to hide parasites in it. Thanks. Just enough to keep us hot in the already hot summers. Thanks. We could stand upright. Great. Cool. We're still not good climbers like every other thing that's low to the ground. And even if we weren't low to the ground, there are the things that couldn't climb tall enough that it didn't matter. They could see better and further than we could. So how did we win? Because we could focus. Because we had one advantage that no other species had, and that is that we could keep going. We could track, and we could know where something was going, and we could walk. We could walk, and we could walk, and we could walk. And we never had to stop walking. We would just keep walking. While something would run and run and run and run, and then it would need to rest, we would just walk. Eventually, we would catch up to it, and it would try and run and run and run and run again, but we would catch up to it, and it would run again, and we would catch up to it. And eventually, it couldn't run anymore, and we could just keep walking. Walking is a powerful tool. It's what brought us, well, I can't necessarily say it's what brought us here where we are today, but it certainly was a guiding hand to bring us to the beginnings. If school is a representative of the intelligence that brought us to the modern day, then walking was like the bus that brought us there. We couldn't have gotten there without the bus. Usually this is cut off by now. So it's gonna cut off in any moment. Could cut it off now, or I could not. But now I'm just talking about it cutting off rather than whatever I was talking about. I mean, I forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, what was I saying? Us walking, yeah, it's what made us a great species. I don't know what I was talking about before that, though. And that's all right. I feel like if I walk home now, I'm going to have mental silence, which is what's been happening the past few days. The past days that I've been having this is by the time this camera cuts off, the thoughts are all out of my head, and it takes a while for them to fill my brain back up. That's why I usually have so much to talk about during the first time, but not so much to talk